Why, hello and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, and today, a quick guide video on siege engines with a little more detail. I did a recent epic battles video where I talk about a bunch of tips and tricks for epic battles that are important to know and do, and I want to talk a little bit more about siege engines, okay? So for one, engineers are ideal for doing siege engines. They get a lot of buffs, right? For that, promotions, I have a whole video on promotions if you want to know about that with epic battles. But here's the big one, all right, with siege equipment. So when you right click, this is this pops up for you, right? This is a catapult. I set this catapult up. There are fixed siege equipment. For like the Minas Tirith ones, there's some fixed ones that are very, very important to repair if they get damaged from enemy catapults. I can't stress this enough, okay? If they break, you can't rebuild them, all right? You can only repair those kind of ones, okay? So you need to keep them repaired and good. The repair button is this hammer if it takes damage. Right now, I don't have any damage on this one, so we're good. I haven't even started this epic battle. This is me showing you how to do it, okay? You can also add together your work speed. So for example, there's a certain speed at which I can crank this back, all right? So I'm gonna load it, right? So you click this load button, this is how you load. There's a couple different kinds of shots. There's a heavy shell, which is a large impact, big one. There is the grape shot, which is a bunch of little ones that covers a large area. There's triple shell. This one's like, well, sounds like what it sounds like, it's triple shell, right? With land 3 shells in a column, so basically in the same spot, bang, 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 lots of damage. And then there's the spread shell. Load the catapult with a spread shell that will allow these, and now there are different ones depending on the siege equipment you have. There are trebuchets, catapults, and ballistas in this game, as well as traps for engineers, which are like the tripwire, the bear, all that kind of stuff. But we're sticking to siege equipment, okay? For this episode right now today, for this guide. So again, now that I'm gonna load it with a heavy shell. Click load, heavy shell. So as you can see, that big circle appears. Now you can see there's a heavy shell in it, and if I want to shoot it farther straight, I need to crank it back, right? So I can crank it back. Now here's something a lot of people don't know. You can have multiple people doing multiple things at once. This is so important, I can't stress it enough. So again, I could really put it back. Now I can only do one thing at once as one person. So now I'm gonna crank to the left. That's what these two buttons do, right? It says aim left, aim right. So there we go, now I can shoot right there. Let's see if a troll was coming up, I could shoot it, right? But I could have someone cranking right while someone's cranking back. Now I am cranked back as furthest as I can go. So at the position this is sitting, that's as far as I can go. So I'm gonna release and let it can fire, right? So there goes our little shot. And that would hit someone and do lots of damage on a troll or something. Now, what if you want to see, that was a heavy shot, let's do the grape shot and see what that looks like, okay? So it would shoot right here if I wanted to. Now, can you hurt yourself or your friends? I do not believe so, but I'm gonna crank back once anyway, because you have to crank once, and now I'm gonna fire, all right? So the effect, there it is, boom, all right? And no, you can't hit your friends or your own stuff. They're immune. So example, I couldn't hit my own banners, which are very important to keep repaired, if you watched my last video. So now let's try out the triple shot, all right? And again, there's some powder options, right? Leeching powder, slowing, this is slowing powder. These are things that do stuff, right? Add a powder to the shell that will rend the armor of the enemy. Or, you know, this one, add powder to the shell that will slowly defeat enemies. It's a poison, basically. Or this one, it will damage enemies. It's fire, right? So I could add some fire to this shell, right? But as you can see, this one, what this one does that we loaded, which is the triple shell, see, it's in a line, right? So now I can crank back a little farther because there's no point in shooting myself here. So I'm gonna move it where it positions to hit a bunch. This is a great shot for this because a lot of times there's a bunch of orcs trying to get to this objective, to the statue in this one. So I could fire this, boom, and I'd hit everyone in this area, right? It's a good one to use for this short little area here, okay? So they're each specialized in what you want, and again, I added extra fire damage to it, right? Or whatever, to burn them. Now let's try using, let me do the grape shot. I think we already did the grape shot though, so. I'm gonna add slowing powder to it, right? And now I'm gonna crank this back. And again, remember, someone could be cranking. Well, someone else, once it gets in the right spot, fires. Someone could still be cranking to get the next one ready, and someone else could be loading, right? Someone could be loading while another person's cranking, but you can only do one at a time. So this one's a very, this is a sideways. See how it shoots kind of like spread apart? The farther back you go, the more it spreads to left and right. So that's kind of the differences of those shots, by the way. And again, if I wanted to, I could aim left, right? And move them slightly left. So you can see that when they move, right? And again, you can speed it up You could turn if you have 3 people all turning left, right? Or right. Left, right, right? Now, I place this one. Now, is it important which way you angle the catapult when you do a placed symbol? Well, let me show you. Let's see how far we can go. Can we go in a complete circle? I believe this particular one can go in a complete circle because it's not a specialized in-place catapult. Yeah, I can just keep going. So you could have some, you can completely turn to the other side if you wanted to. But some, like the Minas Tirith one, you actually have a certain limit to how far you can shoot to the side, right? There's like a limit to how far I can turn right and left. So this one, you could just kind of keep going until you want to get to all the way to their side. It'd be a lot faster with another thing, right? And again, I could dismantle this one again to replace it, right? To show you guys, so there we go. And then, by the way, there's also upgrades, right? If you're an engineer, you can upgrade things. So I can go into upgrades, and I can upgrade its damage, I can upgrade its armor, its speed at which you can do things, its distance it can shoot, right? Lots of cool little upgrades. So I'm gonna dismantle it though and show you real quick how I can replace it, okay? Now, at the beginning of this, I actually didn't show you, but I grabbed it as a box originally. So when it's a box, it goes right here, just like if you picked up a barricade, okay? It pops right here, small catapult placement, all right? So now that I have this small catapult, what if I wanted to set it up right here? You left click on the little symbol here, which by the way, if you want, you could always grab this thing and move it around. I'm gonna confuse you guys, hold on. Oh, well, I just placed my catapult. Well, if I didn't want to place it there, I could pick it back up. But I have to build it, and then I have to dismantle it. Unfortunately, good thing to keep in mind. But I'm gonna go ahead and just build it right here, because that's okay, it'll work to shoot right there. And again, I wanted to show you, you can move this around, the traps, and it's also where you'll pick those things up. And there's a bunch of them back there too. There's some boxes, and they're usually at the front here. You can see them right there on the top right. There's 2 other ones. There's a barricade, and there's a ballista. Ballistas work very similarly, they just shoot a little differently. But again, now I can look, so first you like to load a shell, I like to load a shell, crank it back once so you can kind of see where it's gonna aim, and then you can see I can shoot this whole area, I can crank left, right, and now I can fire. Remember, you can also repair multiple things at once. I think I said this at the beginning of the video, but make sure, in the Minas Tirith one especially, that you are all repairing the catapult, because once it breaks, you cannot dismantle it, you cannot repair it from broken, okay? So it's really important to keep alive in the first place. But now I will show you too, you can also, there are some fixed ones, so again, small ballista. So I could pick this one up, and now I have a small ballista I could place somewhere and set this one up if I wanted to, and I could build this ballista, right? Do the same similar commands, slightly different ammo and way it shoots. For example, this ballista is automatically ready here all the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and build this one, right? This one's a fixed location ballista. I see it will not let me dismantle it. Well, let's see, I'm curious if let me dismantle it once it's built though. I'm curious if we can take it and move it. Now again, in the Minas Tirith one, they're already built, they're already there, and you can't dismantle them. They're giant in-place trebuchets or catapults. I forget which one they're supposed to be. Yes, I can dismantle this one if I wanted to, but you can load it. Ballistas have only one type of thing to shoot. They shoot a fiery ballista shot, spear, right? Crank back, and you can see it out there on the field, right? So now they only crank once, just to load, and now you can aim up, which will aim farther, aim down, which will aim closer, left and right to shoot at certain things out there. You'll see the circle move as you move it, and then you can fire, right? Ballista shot, boom. All right, you kill a bunch of orcs. It helps out, gets you extra points, that kind of stuff. So that's about it with their commands, and you can extinguish them if they're on fire. You can repair them if they're, you can, give them upgrades again, damage, distance, defense. It's pretty nice. Siege equipment are pretty cool in this game. In fact, I love the fact that siege equipment work like a team, that you can actually work multiple people on at once. I think it's very realistic to like history. I know I've said that in the past, but I think it's really cool that there's you can have a team on the ballista, and it's really important, especially in the Minas Tirith ones, that you keep those catapults or ballistas alive. So you need to have 1 or 2 people up there, because you might have one person loading, one person cranking back, one person repairing it, and the other person's cranking right, one person's cranking back, and then you fire, right? They have to be careful, because you can overshot. You can move it so fast. If 3 of you are all cranking right, it's going to go boom, 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 boom. It's going to move really fast, and you're going to have to go back the other way. So you have to realize that you all add to the speed. And if you're an engineer, some people will be faster or slower than others at cranking because of the promotional buffs, right? Because some of these will actually increase the build speed. Look at that. Build contribute. You get 75% increase. load capacity, you got 35% increased speed. Aim to move things, if 75% increased speed on aim. That adds up, right? If you're all engineers, which is good. Engineers are one of the most important roles in epic battles. And anyway, that's it for today, my friends. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day in Middle-earth, and enjoy your epic battles. Thank you to my wonderful patrons for their support. Thank you, Skumley, for being a royal guard. Subscribe button's there. Next episode will be up there for guides, and a LOTRO tale and main content's over there with voiceovers in Middle-earth. Well, Lord of the Rings Online. Baruch Hazard Kuzar menu. And if you like Tolkien, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys. Have a wonderful day in Middle-earth.